Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new league racing video. This is PSGL round 11 I believe, around Circuit of the Americas, USA, and as you can see we're heading out for our first Q1 session. This is the race we can win the championship actually. As you can see in the standings here, we are 40 points ahead of Barry Borman, and we lost a few points in Singapore, but that was the first in a long time we actually lost points. Actually since Monaco, where I didn't drive. So, you know, it's been a very good season so far. A bit of a shame that we lost the win streak in Singapore, but it is what it is. Jake Benham 46 points behind, and just heading out on my first Q1 run on the softs. As you can see in the top right, I've already set a lap, but that's on the intermediates just to test if all the equipment is working, and just to get a lap time on the board basically.
Should be.
You know, you've got this very rare situation where
systems as we want to, by the way. So trust your judgment over us.
Where people invalidate, and you know, 1 in 1,000 races maybe 5 people invalidate Q1, and actually your enter time would be enough. So it's just one of those just to be sure things, you know. And I always just set a lap just to make sure. As I said, equipment is working, but also for that scenario. So, I think we are restarting the lobby after the race. Yeah, I'm actually 100% sure we are restarting the lobby after this race. Simply because Brendan last week had this tire bug where he got new tires at the start of the race compared to everyone else. So, to avoid this happening again, we're just restarting every single race just to make sure that it's fair. As Singapore is quite a bit of an advantage to have new tires. Brendan agreed. I think he would have won either way, so it didn't really matter for the end result, but you know, in a future race it could happen like that. Luckily for next game, of course, you will always get your own tire selection, no matter if you make it into Q3 or not. You always get new tires if you have them available. But anyway, let's get started then. Q1, first lap. Into turn 1, uphill braking, easy to miss the apex or over slow, as it's a blind corner, so it's hard to judge where you're going exactly. And through the fast section, and minimize the distance through that soft right hand, and then just smooth on the steering wheel through here. Just smooth. This is all what you need to be. Smooth and fast, which is the hardest part, of course. And then your rear tires will be screaming by the time you get out of that section into the downhill left-hander hairpin coming up. Very important exit, as it's a massive straight. So DRS is going to be opening soon up the hill, and short line, you can see just cutting the straight. There's a small corner there, just cutting it, and then to the next left-hander. Not been a great lap so far. 101.0 middle split. Just not great, so we need to get it together in this last sector basically. Important to just get a time on the board for now and make it into Q2. That's all we need to do. Danny Versney 130.538, and into the final 2 left-handers. Very easy to invalidate here. Missed the apex, so that definitely cost me a little bit of minimum speed. Into the final corner then, 4th gear. Back end is stepping out as the rear tires are screaming. It's P1 for now. And that will see us through into Q2 surely. Barry and Shanika go faster. In the end we dropped to P10, but it was enough to make it into Q2. Bit of a shocker was that Alvaro Caraton was out in Q1. Matthias out as well, which is also a little bit of a shocker to me. Dario in P16. So yeah. On to Q2 then. This is going to be our one and only lap. Medium tires, as you can see. Starting on the mediums is quite a bit of an advantage around here. Ultimate strategy is just very strong around USA. It's pretty easy to overtake compared to some other tracks. But it's not going to be easy to get into Q3 on this set of tires, you know. Some people will go for the softs, and we have to try and be somewhere close, at least ahead of most medium runners, because yeah, we're definitely not going to be the only one to try and get into Q3 in the medium. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen to the first sector. You can see that delta on the top right is to a lap time I set on the softs, but I invalidated on purpose, so I would have a delta, and then I could see halfway through the lap if I had to abort it or just keep pushing, because there's still 5 minutes on the clock, so in case I mess this lap up, I can always abort it, come back into the pits, and then go out on the same set of tires, as the mediums don't wear out that fast anyway. You can really afford to go for another one. So 4.7 tenths down on our soft run so far, which is not too bad, you know. Softs are really powerful around here on 1 lap pace. But into the final sector soon. It's a 101.6 middle split, which is, you know, pretty good on the mediums. I think they are close to a second slower per lap over 1 lap. As we go through the long right-hander here. And you can see there, back end steps out, which means the rear tires are screaming. They are burning. And, you know, that's the difficulty around this track. You need to be fast, but keep the tire temperature in the right window up to the line. It has been a very good lap, to be honest. It's going to be a 131.483, and that's the fastest. Not much more in it. Of the medium runners, and as you can see there, we made it through P7. Barry initially went slower, but then he went out on the same set of tires again and improved. I didn't have time to do that, so I couldn't, but in the end it was enough anyway. Nicholas Longe, Brendan Lee, Wilson Huge out on the mediums. Louis Welch also on the controller tried to make it into Q3 on the mediums, and then Time and Shooter I think was aiming for P11 to go for an ultra strategy. So first run of Q3 here, still 2 new sets of tires. But unfortunately we invalidated, and that's our banker lap gone. I decided to still finish it because there's not time to come in and still do 2 runs anyway. So just decided to finish it and get a delta for myself for the last run, but the pressure is going to be on for this last one. New set of tires, half a minute remaining in the session, and this is going to be very important. If I invalidate this one, or if I make a big mistake, it's going to be a poor Q3 session, and we're going to be starting down in P10 or P9. So this is crucial. 1 tenth up through the first corner, so that's been very, very solid. 2 of the S's then. Rear sticks right on the asphalt. Front bites into the asphalt nicely as well. 24.419. Fastest of the session so far in Sector 1. You can see there, a bit too late on the turn-in, but still managed to make up time. 1.5 tenths up as we go into the next hairpin. Exit's going to be crucial, and we absolutely nail it. Now, long exit coming up. DRS open, and now smooth on the wheel. Short line through this right kink. And then we're going to pick our braking point for the final time in this Q3 session in this left-hander. Down to 3rd gear. Got the apex, we missed it a little bit, but we managed to keep the minimum speed up, which is crucial. Fastest middle split I've done so far in this qualifying session, and now it's all about keeping those rears alive through this next right-hander for the final corner as well, because that's where we used to struggle on those rear tires. Short line, front is biting nicely in the asphalt into the next left, and I missed the apex by quite a bit, and it definitely cost me around the 10th. Into the final corner, Barry Berman goes fastest, or championship rival goes fastest, and up to the line we're gonna go pole position for the USA Grand Prix by 300ths of a second. Still some people on laps, but it looks like no one is gonna improve. Thomas Ronhaar still on the lap, Jake Penham still on the lap, but as you can see soon, Thomas Ronhaar will invalidate here through the next left-hander, so he's going to start in P5. And that was quite a quali session. Jake Benham eventually did manage to get into P3, so solid stuff from him. And as you can see, Danny Bresnay, only person in the top 5 to start on the softs, so he's going to be rapid to start, as it's new tires for everyone because of the session restart, of course. So those softs will have a little bit of an advantage compared to usual, you know. Because usual they would have a little bit of tire wear, more compared to the mediums after Q2, but now they are brand new, so he's going to be rapid right away from the start, and we need to try and follow him around maybe. I think that will be pretty important. Final cars lining up on the grid now, and it's going to be me versus Barry into turn 1, or championship rival. This is the race we could win the championship, and it's not going to be easy. We have to outscore him by quite a lot actually, so it's very unlikely. We have to win and he has to finish in the bottom 7, I think so, or P7 or below, I mean. But anyway, it's 5 red lights and away we go. Good initial start, and looks like we're going to be clear into turn 1. Jake Benham gets past Barry Burham and Danny Bresnan down the inside of all those cars. He, on the softs, got the best out of everyone in the top 5. And as you can see, straight away into P2. Alessio Di Capua on the softs as well, up to P5. Those softs are going to be rapid in those opening laps. And I'm not planning to fight Danny at all in this opening lap. I want to see if I can tuck behind. And you see that backhand stepping out a bit. That car is so heavy compared to the last lap we did on Q3, of course, which was an empty tank, fresh softs. So it's always getting a little bit used to the car in this opening lap. And Danny Bresnan is 6 tenths behind, but then he gets such much better traction out of the hairpin. And I used a bit of overtake, but I just had to let him go. There's no point in using my battery. He is going to get past anyway, whether it's going to be on the straight or somewhere in the last sector. Might as well just let him go and follow him around. You see Barry Burman 7 tenths behind, quite far back actually. And let's see if we can take an advantage from that, you know. I'm gonna try and push as hard as possible to keep up with Danny Bresnan, but also maybe break DRS from Barry Burman. That's the aim here, because if we manage to break DRS, then it is gonna be a very lonely race, but it's gonna be a much easier race for me. So I'm gonna be pushing as hard as I can in the next 2 laps coming up to try and stay within that second of Danny Bresnan and stretch the advantage a bit. But as you can see here, start of lap 4. We did have DRS, because see in the bottom left, no battery remaining. We've run out, and Barry Burman is still in the DRS. Soon we probably won't be able to keep up with Danny anymore, even though the softs will slowly start to drop off. We've used so much battery that Danny Bresnan,
42%.
as you can hear Sam say there, Bresnan 42%, and we've got nothing. We are below 10. And once he turns on that overtake button, he will get out of DRS. You can see DRS detection point is right there. So we will get DRS one more time, but he's going to turn on the overtake on this exit, and he is going to be gone. So DRS open, and then we have to accept the fact that Danny Bresnan will be gone for the rest of the stint. And we just have to focus on the cars behind now. Recharge the battery basically before we come into the pits, because it's going to take quite a while probably. You can see I managed to get back into a second for a brief moment, but this final sector is very much mechanical grip. It's all slow speed corners, and that's where the softs are fast. You can see on this exit Danny just absolutely rockets away, and that's the end of our DRS story for now. And we're actually midway into lap 6. You can see Alessio Di Capua going for a move on Barry Burman, and all I wanted is tuck in behind Alessio so he could pull us along and give us that DRS, because he is on the softs and he's probably going to be faster for another 2-3 laps at least before those softs start to drop off. So we can get the DRS, recharge our battery, because if you've got DRS, the battery recharges a little bit faster, simply because you've got less drag on the straight, and you approach the corner a little bit faster, with that, which then regenerates the battery a little bit faster again. On to halfway into lap 9. You can see we're still right with Alessio.
The AlphaTauri is within DRS of Jake.
Ah, okay. Well, I'll still get past anyway. I'm gonna go for the move here on Alessio. The softs are slowly starting to drop off, so there's no point in staying behind for too long. You know, just decided to get past again and dictate the pace again. We're going to continue recharging our battery because we still got quite a few laps to go. Lap 14, all softeners have gone into the pits onto a new set of mediums. Then we'll get a little bit of an undercut, but of course we will have those fresh softs to the end of the race. Barry gets past.
Yeah, copy mate.
And as you can see, he's lagging quite a lot, which is a bit distracting. I don't think it's really dangerous, because he'll probably ghost if we would battle, so yeah, it is what it is. End of lap 14 now.
Don't make me laugh.
My stream was lagging quite bad, so that's why I said that. He's lagging more than my stream. Luckily, I figured the issue. Brandon Lee comes into the pits, and he's going for a very aggressive undercut. And all he's just trying to do is get track position, which is a pretty smart idea, as eventually you will get in a DRS train again. So he does that quite a lot. Go for an aggressive undercut, and it works pretty often for him.
You got an idea of when you want to go?
Nicolas Longe comes into the pits for a new set of softs as well, so he's going for an undercut as well. We're going to be doing the opposite. We're going long. And so, what is the train Brandon is approaching? Is that people that still have to pit, or is it soft medium runners?
Soft medium runners.
Okay. And we're going to have fresh softs in the end, because I felt like it was important to have fresh softs. And Thomas Runner and Barry Worman both come into the pits. Me and Jake Benham both stay out. And as soon as Barry pitted, I had 100% battery, so I could use a little bit of that and minimize the damage we're getting from that undercut. Because at this point the softs are probably gaining around 1.5 to 2 seconds per lap on us, and not much we can do. I decided to stay out for 2 laps longer, end of 18, so we've got a 2-lap tire advantage compared to Thomas Ronnar and Barry Bormand. 4 laps to Brendan Lee and 3 laps to Nicolas Longe. So we've got some work to do probably, as those soft runners got a pretty big undercut, I reckon. As Brendan Lee is already past us, and he's probably going to be around 8-9 seconds ahead. Or that's what I expect at least. So it sounds a lot, but that 4 lap fresher tires is going to be a massive help. Wilson Huge, sorry Wilson, I still can't pronounce your last name properly, comes out 1.6 seconds ahead of us. And he has gone into the box quite late as well. I think end of lap 17. He's quite far behind Thomas, and as you can see, Thomas boxed 2 laps earlier than us and was 5 seconds ahead, so that means 2.5 second undercut per lap. And now 2 laps later we are right behind Wilson. We're gonna go for the move. He doesn't have DRS just yet, so this isn't gonna be very hard with the help of DRS. Yeah, we're gonna go down the inside. We will clear him before the braking zone. And then it's Danny Bresny and Alessio Di Capua on the mediums as I run a little bit wide. Should have been a warning actually, as I just simply went off track, but the game didn't give me one. So this is what it is. Alessio now on the mediums ahead of me. He is flashing, as you can see, so he's struggling with the DRS. And we've got so much more grip, so we are gonna absolutely send it down the inside. Alessio knows it's coming. There's no point in defending from him. He goes for the switchback, so he didn't even lose much time. He maybe lost a 10th by me overtaking him. He did that pretty smart. And you know, this way he didn't really lose any time. So now he's gonna try and stick behind us, which he did pretty well. You can see only Wilson has managed to overtake him so far. So it looks like Alessio is gonna get points here. And now we're gonna go for the move on Danny Bresny halfway into lap 24. And it's gonna be pretty easy. Danny knows the softs are superior at this point. Not much he can do apart from not fighting too hard. Just maximizing his own race at this point. And now halfway into lap 25, right behind Thomas Ronard through the S section. And you can see you get a big slide on that exit. And I decided to go for the move straight away, turn on the overtake, go around the outside into the hairpin, brake deep. And Thomas is just gonna leave us enough space on the outside. We're gonna turn on the DRS, and you can see Brendan is giving him slipstream, which is very smart, because if Brendan wants to have a chance at a podium, he needs to make sure Thomas stays ahead as long as possible, simply because of our tire advantage. We're gonna go around the outside here, gets squeezed a little bit in the exit, but he just leaves us enough space, and into the next right-hander. Thomas has to concede eventually. Of course, he has all the tires, so it's not gonna be easy to keep defending. And now Brendan is up next. He is the one on the oldest tire here. He boxed at the end of lap 14, so we've got a 4-lap tire advantage, which is quite a lot around this track, pace-wise, into the final corner. That's our first warning of the race, actually. And we're going to turn on the overtake button, tuck in the slipstream of Brendan. And you can see very late on, I turn on the overtake button and again, and now we're going to send it down the inside. Just managed to slow it down on the apex. And simply because we have a tire advantage, we get the traction down, as Brendan went for a switchback, but he just didn't have the grip we had on the traction, simply because of the tire advantage. So not much he could do there. We send it, it's such an open corner, so it's very easy to dive bomb and make the corner, but then it's at the same time very easy to go for a switchback as well. So that's what Brendan did. Had the right strategy, but just didn't have the tires right there. yeah, let's not forget, Brandon, I think, started P12. He's up to P4, so he's had a solid race. Very solid. Doing very well. Anyway, it's gonna be 2 laps to go across the line, and we still have 2 cars to overtake. Nicolas Longe and our championship rival Barry Bormand are not gonna make it easy, of course. Nicolas and Barry have been playing together a little bit all season, so Nicolas is definitely not gonna make it easy here. And you can see I went for a fake move. I want to go for a switchback, but I locked up the inside wheel and just missed the apex and run wide. So that is one overtaking opportunity gone and out of the window. And now we need to get by ASAP. And basically our next opportunity is on the long back straight. You can see Nicolas is struggling a little bit on tires. And we're right with him on the exit here. He isn't getting much dirty air as Barry is quite far ahead. So that's our disadvantage. But of course that tire advantage is so big. Into the next left-hander. You can see Nicolas struggling a little bit of a wheel spin on that exit. And we're going to turn on the overtake button. And you can see he's doing the exact same. He is DRS as well, of course. So there's not much we can do. I keep on the overtake button to pressure him into the next left-hander. He has to go defensive. And now we're going to get a much better exit. We just try to go down the inside. He defends very late on. And we're going to go down the inside here. He turns in, runs wide. And that's up to P2 we go. And so now it's all Barry with 1 lap to go basically. And we will have DRS, of course, which will be an advantage. We are running a little bit low on the DRS though, so that might be a struggle. And that's going to make it a lot harder. Now, 1 DRS zone coming up here on the main straight, and then it's 1 more on the long back straight. So I'm not going to use my overtake button just yet, because I know that Barry would like to have DRS as well on the long back straight. But we're just going to sit behind.
I'm going to raise this, man.
And I was happy with the lag, but not much we can do about it at the moment. I think even if we would somewhat collide, I think we would ghost anyway, so it's not the end of the world. We're still going to try and do it the proper way though. DRS detection point coming up. Barry went pretty slow through there, so I thought he was going to play a game here with the DRS, but he didn't. And we are going to get DRS on the long back straight. We were right with him, only 3/10 behind coming out of this hairpin. We're going to turn on the overtake button. We're going to turn on the DRS. And we're going to go down the inside on the straight. You can see a pull off very much to the left, just to make sure we're not making contact because of the lag. We defend into the next left-hander. And now all we have to do is keep it on track, as we have the tire advantage here in this last sector. So that's going to be pretty easy and pretty straightforward. 6/10 ahead into the next long left-hander. We are way too far ahead for Barry to do something. We've got the tire advantage, and we're going to bring it home in P1. Not a championship today, at least that's what I thought when finishing the race, as we won and Barry had to finish at P7 or P8 or lower. But after the race, something happened. We got reported for the incident with Nicolas, but we didn't get penalized. As you can see here, Nicolas chose his line on that exit and then decided very late on to go to the right, which is basically yeah, just simply not allowed. Otherwise defending would be very easy. You can see he moved very late once he saw that I was going to go for the move down the inside on that exit. So he got a penalty point for that, and I didn't get penalized for the next right-hander simply because I was next to him. You see my car was completely alongside. He still decided to just take the normal racing line, which you can't because you're going side by side, and I'm completely next to him. I made the corner pretty easily, simply because I had fresh tires, you know. I had more grip, I could brake late. I did the same to Brandon. I had a lot of grip advantage. So yeah, they decided to leave the league, and that basically makes me champion for the 4th time in PSGL. All we have to do is basically start the next race, as Barry and Nicolas decided to both leave the league. I don't know why both, because the incident I had was with Nicolas, not with Barry. But it is what it is. We won this race. It's 6 out of 7 wins in this season. So absolutely beautiful. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe if you guys want to see more. And see you guys next time. Ciao.